Hello and welcome to another TWM Talks. I'm Jonathan Pearson and I'm today joined by two-time WWE Women's Champion, a one-time TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion, a five-time Knockouts Champion, a bodybuilder, a YouTuber. The list goes on. It is the one and only Lisa Marie. How are you?
How are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Nice.
I forgot to wear my shirt. I was gonna put a shirt on for the show. This is my first time wearing it. You guys, this is the first time wearing it.
So we've got an exclusive shirt review right off the bat.
It is. I haven't tried it on yet, but remember Umaga from Goose? Remember 3 Count?
Yes.
Not 3 Count. Shoot, with 3 Count, right? No, that's with Shane Helms. My bad.
We know.
Is it I have not seen a wrestling shirt this good quality, you know?
Yeah. It's lovely. It's nice.
Yeah. Yes, I gotta support.
So the first question is, obviously, if hopefully everyone knows by now that there is a global pandemic. Hopefully everyone knows. What's it been like in America? And what's just a typical day in quarantine been like for you?
I am going a little nuts, Jonathan. I'll be honest with you, but it's the positive and negatives. But the positive, we started our own show, with SoCal Val and Mickey James called GAW TV. It's on YouTube, GAW TV show. And if you subscribe, we will love you forever. And it's every Wednesday live, 5 p.m. Pacific time, East Coast time. So we're always in the live chat when we're on the show. So that was a positive thing that came out of it. But the negative, I became a little bit antisocial. Okay. And I am a super social butterfly, and I love people, and I like to be around crowds. Mm-hmm. Now, like when I go grocery shopping, I'm like, let's go home. I gotta go home. It's too much. It became, I'm just so isolated that I got so used to it, you know what I mean? Being home during the day by myself with my 2 dogs, and, my place is super clean. That's also another positive, because you just keep on cleaning, steam cleaning the carpets. My dogs are getting a lot more exercise because I'm home more often, but
that's good.
But the average day, I thought, I was never a morning person, which I'm not. Like, I don't get out of bed peppy and everything like that. I need to have my coffee for sure. But I get up super early, like 7 a.m. Which is early for me. Mm-hmm. I used to be a late sleeper, dude. Serious. Okay. I used to sleep so late. And now I'm going to bed by 9:30. When did that happen?
That is a day.
Isn't that early?
That is very early. That is early.
Right? Oh my gosh. And then like SoCal Val, when we're doing our tapings, it's 10 o'clock at night her time. And she's just starting the night. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that. It's nice to have an early.
Yeah, are you guys super, super locked down there as well?
Yeah, so I don't really know what's going on. It changes every day. But it's all a bit locked down. So you can only go to some places, you can only do some things. It's all a bit all over the place.
Like our restaurants it's outdoor seating, mm-hmm. But I just went to a restaurant yesterday. We rode our bikes to a restaurant and had some oysters and a few cocktails, and we were sitting in the restaurant, and usually every other table is vacant.
Yeah.
This restaurant didn't have that rule.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, but maybe because it was, we were sitting on it was no ceiling on part of it, but the rest of the restaurant was still popping. I was pretty surprised because when we used to work at a restaurant downtown, every other table had to be empty. So you had just 2 tables at a time. You know what I mean? So the waitresses and waiters were suffering big time from that,
Yeah.
But yeah.
It is so weird.
Crazy though. Every place, it is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Things that used to be so normal, just like full restaurants now, it's so weird to see things like that.
Right? It's weird. Like now it's a habit to like bring your mask everywhere because we're not allowed in stores like without the mask and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's just like yesterday, I don't know how the hell I forgot my mask, but I went to the CVS, which is just a like a quickie mart kind of place, and I forgot my mask, and I'm like, shoot, and I was gonna go do this because some of the homeless that I live, they come in the stores like this, but they're like, oh no, you can't do that, and I go, oh, I see other people do that, and they're like, well, no, we kick them out. So it's strange when like, what's our normal gonna be? Not normal. We're we're always gonna be having to do masks. Even I see even a year from now, we're gonna still do masks. I really do. You know what I mean? And also too, like, I'm getting a lot of like emails about booking and, hey, we want you to do a spot on our show, that kind of thing. And I'm like, what? Are you guys doing the COVID test prior to that? Because, like Mickey, when she goes to WWE, she has to do her COVID test 3 days before. And then when she gets there again, and because you're around people. And you're wrestling, you're being hands-on. So it's a little freaky, so the guy that usually books me, I was just like, I go, I'm gonna hold off on some appearances. I go, I don't want to do it in person. This virtual thing I'm loving. I can just sit in my kitchen and just film, it's pretty awesome. You know what I mean? So many things have opened, like Cameo, and Celeb VM, like shout outs and stuff like that. And then there's this new one that I'm on, Rave VIP. And people could purchase a chit chat with me on just like this, seeing each other's face. So everything is just catered to us staying home now. Mind you, that's why I gained weight. I think everybody has gained
everyone.
19 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because not being active, like, I was talking to my friend the other day. I was like, I just went to go walk my dogs, and I'm blown up. I'm exhausted. I felt like I just did a relay race. You know what I mean? Crazy, huh?
But I feel like if you haven't got out of shape, then have you really been in lockdown? That's the normal. Being out of shape is now normal. That is But you look at you follow some girl, Tori Wilson, Chavo Guerrero. I'm like, oh my God, you're shredded. He goes, there's nothing to do but work out. And I'm like, must be nice having an in-home gym. You know what I mean? They've got it good.
I just live in a loft. Yeah, they do. I was like, I live in a loft. There's no room for that. Crazy.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Someday, dare to dream, right?
Exactly. So it was in late 2019 that you announced you were retiring from in-ring competition. How did you know it was the right time to just step back? And how hard has it been to adapt to a life without wrestling?
I'm still not without wrestling. I think, doing our show, we still, talk about wrestling still, you know what I mean? And my body was hurting. And when I was doing independent wrestling, their style has changed so much and it's so fast. It's not about my style of wrestling is very slow and, get my facial expressions and then sneak, and get my prey, and stalk them and circle. And it's just spot. And I'm not a fan of that. It doesn't really tell a story. It shows that you're very athletic and you can do all these moves, but it doesn't get the fans' emotions involved. We're not so expressive body language and facial expressions and letting a moment settle. You'll do 3 moves and then, back in our days, you do 3 moves and then you stop and let people go.
Yeah.
And then get into it. You know what I mean? And I was doing on the independence, my ego got in the way. So I was taking moves that I've never taken before, like a suicide dive. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? But I was like, okay, I can do it. What the hell am I doing? This is not my repertoire, right? And I didn't do the suicide. I caught the suicide dive.
Oh, okay.
And and I was like, and how fast we got up from that. And I was like, whoa. Oh my gosh. And I laid down on the ground. When I got through the curtain, I laid in there like, are you okay? And I go, the style has changed so much. I go, I'm exhausted. And I was physically just drained.
Yeah.
And I just knew, like I got, my boyfriend David picked me up from the airport, and I looked at him and I had like my eyes were watering, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting major anxiety going to these, like, who am I facing? Even though, like, you watch them on YouTube and just to see what they do and their style, if they're safe.
Yeah.
And I was just like getting to shows, and I was like, still to this day, I get super, super nervous. I'm about to throw up, and my stomach gets upset, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, I'm blown up, tired before the match even starts, because my mind is going, oh my gosh, I don't want people to think I've lost it and I've slowed down and I'm older. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of pressure because I've been wrestling for 20 years and you're not allowed to make a mistake, but we're human, so it's a lot to take on your shoulders. And I went to a show, and Bambi Weevil's promotion, and it was, I'm blanking out on the name. This is terrible of me. She's a really good friend of mine. And Melina was my opponent. I have to pick my opponent. And there's a lot of opponents, oh, we would love to face this person. I'm like, well, too bad, they're retired. They're not wrestling. They're not wrestling anymore. And I was like, Melina's still wrestling. Oh, thank God, I'll pick Melina. And I was so nervous getting ready for that match. And I was laughing. I still talk to Melina every single day. And we were getting ready, going over, like, I go, I might do this, if I call for this, I might do that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but make sure we get this move in. We're the main event of a show, and it wasn't just all girls. It was men and women, and we're main eventing. We can't do a okay, let's just do our normal matches, right? Or a popcorn match or something, right? And not kill each other. And I was like, God, we have to do this. Let's go off the top rope, this and that. And she was like, I was going over it in the locker room, and she goes, can I use your black eyeliner? And I go, Melina, are you listening to me? Are you listening to what I was saying? I'm like, I go, do you have this match? Do we have this down? I mean, like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And they were putting the belt on me. Oh. And so, like, 30 minutes before, I went up to the guy that was doing the announcing, and I said, hey, give me the mic when I come in after you announce, who I am and stuff. I don't know if you announced me before or when I get in the ring. He gave me the match, and I just said, hey guys, I just want to thank you for coming to my last match. And everybody was like, oh. Okay, and then even the promoter, Bambi, he was like, you didn't tell me it was your last match. And she goes, we would have promoted it as your last match. And I go, I did not know until 30 minutes ago. I go, I'm very confident. I'm done. I was, I'm getting the belt on a show. I'm wrestling one of my favorite opponents. And I can't go higher than this on the indies, right? And, usually, when you're brought back, I'm the type of person, like, when I go back to an indie show, I don't need to win. Let the girl that's wrestling there, she's continuing on her independence. Let her get the win. She beat Victoria or Tara or whatever you want to call me. Let her get the win. I don't care. This is a story. She's going to continue. I'm done. And I just felt very, like, at the end, when she pinned me, she was like, I love you. And I go, I love you too. And I was just like, my ponytail, like, it was so hot in this building. I was like, I had my hair down. Okay. Got to the ring. I was like, screw this. I always wear a little hairband around my wrist. I was like, I can't. As I put it up. The end of the match, my ponytail was like here. You couldn't even see my facial expressions or anything. And I was like, and I forgot how Melina wrestles too. Like, when she got in the ring, I was like, you're freaking scaring me. Her facial expressions, and I get that a lot too, because my mannerisms changes. Yeah. It changes when I get in the ring. I'm like, I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? And she got all like, and I was like, whoa, girl, man. Jeez, I forgot how evil you look. She's so good at being a heel. Yeah. And I just felt good. I was just like, I don't have any remorse. Do I miss it? My body hurts. I'm used to, I was just explaining to someone, it's easy to wrestle every single weekend than taking a break. Like, you don't wrestle for once a month or once every 2 months or anything like that. That first bump that you take, you feel it in the tips of your toes and fingers. You just feel it all over. You're like, oh!
I can imagine, yeah.
Holy moly, give me a second. Yeah. And you're like, you're just going, oh my God, the cutoff spot, like when the heel gets the the heat on you and stuff like that. I was always dreading. I was like, wait, let me sell that. Let me sell it. Back off and let me sell it. I'd rather work every single weekend than every so often. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was happy with my decision. I wasn't sad about it too, because, you know, I still feel part of the wrestling industry, you know, like being on social media and people sending you videos of what you did before and like matches you don't even remember. And you're like, oh my God, they remember this? I don't even remember this match. You know what I mean? It's very touching. It's wrestling fans are super, super loyal.
They are.
They are diehard, right?
They are.
And I'm assuming, Jonathan, do you wrestle as well?
Me? No. I'd love to.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
It'd be fun.
Okay. I thought you did.
Oh no.
I thought you did. You have a good look for it, kid.
I might have to start wrestling now. That can be my
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I'll say Lisa Marie.
Are you single too? Like,
I am.
Recommended me.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's so many places in the UK to wrestle too. You guys have like every corner, right?
There are loads.
That's awesome.
Maybe this is the start of.
Yeah, but your style, your English style is pretty intense.
Yes, hard hitting.
It's full on contact.
It is.
It's MMA. Yes.
Yeah, basically.
It is.
Despite officially being retired, we know a wrestling retirement. It's a bit of a myth. It's not really a thing anymore. Are you still open to doing things here and there, or are you fine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No, I'm open to it. Absolutely. If WWE called me, I would have to ask what's the angle here? What do you have in store for me? That kind of thing. I always wanted to be a trainer for WWE, and that never happened. But it's crazy. It's you never say retire in wrestling, right? It's always a no. Yay! I can see you better. Okay.
Oh, lovely.
I was about to put my glasses on.
Oh.
You're the full screen now, mister.
Yeah, love that. So, you kind of hinted it a little bit there, and you left WWE in 2009. In the time that you did leave, were there any contacts for maybe you to come back? Was there any discussions?
Right away. Really? Oh no, not WWE. TNA. That's when TNA found out when I was had my last match. Contacted me on the exact day of the 3-month no compete clause.
Oh, okay.
And Terry Taylor called me, and we want you to bring you to TNA. And I was like, what do you have in mind? This and that, and they were like, and I said, well, let me think about it. They're like, we kind of want to debut you in 3 days.
Oh, can't.
And I was like, I don't know what your contract looks. You need to send me the contract.
Yeah. And
WWE's contract is like a book. It's like a dictionary, and the TNA sent me, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you sent the whole contract. I only got 12 pages or 15 pages. They're like, that's our contract. And I go, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was nuts. And I said, they wanted to sign me for 3 years. And I go, you know what? Let me just do a year. Yeah. See how I like it. I don't want to commit that much time. What if I don't get along with the locker room? Yeah. And what if there was all these opponents I've never faced. And that's why I went, because there's so many opponents. Like ODB, the Beautiful People, Kong, Gail Kim was over there, and then their style they were letting girls really let loose there. Yeah. Be more in charge of themselves, instead of asking, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? So I was like, I was there for a year, and I said, they want to sign me for 3 years. And I go, give me another year. I go, I'm a little older than the other girls, let me listen to my body. And, I just don't want to stay anywhere that I'm going to be unhappy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because now I'm older, and I think my happiness is, Lisa comes first now. You know what I mean? And I never was like that. Everybody else came first. I was so pleasing. I wanted to please everybody else, not myself, and I would neglect myself. So now it's like, now I'm catching up on life, where we were traveling so much, and to stay home is pretty awesome. You know what I mean? Except during this COVID time, it's too much, too much home.
You just can't.
Jeez, I don't know how much cleaning I can do. I honestly.
Yeah, like I can imagine. There's only so much cleaning to be done.
You know who's making a killing off me, by the way? Amazon.
Yes, I can imagine.
Amazon.
Off everyone, probably.
Oh, everyone, right? And eBay and like all these delivery services and stuff like that, like it's incredible, Gosh, good for them.
Making too much, if anything.
My God, right? We should have invested back then.
Should have. Now we know next time. Next time there's a chance on it.
I know.
We're smart.
I know. If we would have invested, you would have had a cool background that you didn't even have to do. You paid somebody else to do it.
I could have got SoCal.
Your border and stuff like that. You know what? You can reach out to her. Actually, I mentioned you. I was doing an interview with you, and I was like, it's in the UK. Yeah. And I go, you know what? I'm going to tell them that you're in the UK. And I go, would you be willing to do an interview with them? She goes, absolutely. So I'm going to give you her contacts after the interview, so you can have her on the show. Yeah, because she's doing a lot of stuff there too.
Yeah.
I'll hook you up, kid. I'll hook you up.
So you get me a wrestling career. You get me wrestling interviews. You could be my manager. You could be my manager.
Yep, there you go. The red carpet's out for you, Jonathan.
Too nice. You're too kind. So if we roll it all the way back, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I have this though. It was in 2000 that you moved to Los Angeles, and you were working as a trainer in a gym, and that's when you met Chyna. Yes. And she pointed you in the direction of WWF, and then you contacted them, and they said, "Hey, you've got a month." And then within that time, you had to learn how to wrestle. Within 28 days, you had to learn a completely new thing. How hard is that? To learn something you've never done before?
Are you kidding? Dude, I don't wish this on anybody. Don't get me wrong. It was handed to me on a silver platter, this being contacted by WWF at the time. Mm-hmm. I was like, we didn't tell anybody, my package that I sent them was remarkable. Was the best tryout, like tape and stuff. I put time and money in that. Yeah. And my pictures and my presentation. You're living in Los Angeles. Everybody's an actor, so they have people put packages together. And so they did. I didn't know I had 28 until days. They're like, we're going to be in Staples Center in LA. We would like to meet you. And so I contact a wrestling school. I just Googled pro wrestling school, and there was one 2.5 hours away. Okay. And of course, with the LA traffic, I don't know how it is there, but it was 5 hours, 6 hours away. And I called them and said, can I come down to your school? I need to learn WWF. Contacted me. I need to learn how to wrestle. They want to meet me in 30 days. Okay. And so they're like, yeah, absolutely. And so any school, they're going to say, yeah, come train with us for free, because then they have somebody else that gets signed from their school. So it gives them a little bit more, right? And so I went there. I knew crap about wrestling. I really, my 3 older brothers were amateur wrestlers, the college and, high school style. Yeah. And I knew that kind of wrestling, mat wrestling. And I was so clueless. I didn't know what bumping was. I didn't know running the ropes. But I came from the fitness industry where I was competing as a fitness competitor. And so that was also about cardio. And I was a gymnast growing up and cheerleader. So I was a big ham. So being in front of people wasn't a problem, So but going there, telling the guys like, WWF is coming down to meet me, and these guys train their whole life to be a wrestler. Their dream is to be a pro wrestler, right? So imagine the target on my back, right? Yeah. And I remember bumping. I was like, as a gymnast, you're taught to land on your feet, not on your back, So that was so hard to get in your head and not get the wind knocked out of you, So I learned that's why when you ever hear me bump, I yell. I'll go, huh! Or, just to remind myself to exhale so I don't get, the wind, and that Godfather thing opened up, Godfather Hoe. They were looking for 2 permanent hoes. That was my foot in the door, and
jumped on it.
I got lucky. Yeah, I was like, okay, good. Now, of course I didn't want, I was like, what am I doing? I'm a hoe? Oh, God, are you kidding me? It's just, your parents are not going to be proud of that, right? Yeah. And I was like, okay, but that's your foot in the door, and you can get yourself in front of the faces. And so I trained my ass off and made them take me serious, And then when I got signed and moved me to Memphis Championship Wrestling. That was a WWE developmental territory. And then they moved me to Louisville, Kentucky with OVW. That was another territory. And I mean, you're training morning to night, and then sometimes we don't go home. We pack the truck, load the ring up, and go to perform in front of at a church or on a street corner, out a gas station. I'm not kidding. A gas station corner. And we were waiting at people driving by, wrestling going on here, that kind of thing. Yeah. And of course, in my mind, you always think that they're going to put you through hell before you get brought up. You know what I mean? So you're like, okay, this is part of the course. I never complained about it. It was part of it, and they sent me tickets to, you're getting brought up today. And I'd get to the airport. I get a call. We changed our mind. We're going to think about something else for you. And so you can keep on getting teased. And you're like, during your mind, you're like, okay, I'm being tested. How bad do I want it? How bad do I want it? Maybe they would expect me going, screw this, I'm done. Okay, if you haven't decided now, but I packed up and left, had a week to move to Memphis from LA, and I was just ready. You got to put the hard work in. You know what I mean? I know, like, people, when I tell them how I started, people are like, oh, wow, you got so lucky. I did get lucky, but I did work my ass off. You know what I mean? I did. I trained.
Yeah. You may have been handed the opportunity, but you don't just go straight into wrestling willy-nilly. You work for it.
You work for it. Yeah. You work really hard. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah. It's a tough business.
And I was just going to ask, do you reckon if you'd never seen Chyna that day, do you reckon you would have been able to become a WWE wrestler? Was it always about when, not if? Or what do you think?
Okay, Tori Wilson was trying to get me to WCW because she was in WCW, but that didn't pan out, right? So you kind of just go, okay, it wasn't for me. It wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? And then when I went up to Chyna, I said I had two friends that are involved from the fitness industry, Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson. And then she asked me, are you a wrestler? And I'm like, no, but I think I can do what Rey Mysterio and Rob Van Dam do because the gymnastics and the athletic part, right? But I'm a big girl. I was considered big. In the industry, and I was the powerhouse, so I was like catching the people that did all the acrobatics and stuff like that, which I prefer. When I started in the ring and trying to do a moonsault off the top rope, and I was like, maybe I'll be the strong man. I'm okay with catching somebody and making sure they're safe, and then me take the crumble. You know what I mean? So I was like, it's just a longer career when you're on the floor.
Smart
instead of as a high flyer. More injury risks. Yeah,
and so it was in 2002 that you were put onto television. You were up against Trish Stratus right away, and Jackie
Moore was one of my first, and Ivory too. Ivory was one of my opponents that did sent down to Memphis to see how I'm doing. So we had a match together. But Trish Stratus was the first angle.
The first, and then you ended up winning the championship against her. How do you deal with the pressure of going from being an OVW in your training to then being the champion of the top wrestling company in the world? How did you handle that?
There's a lot of pressure even in training, even in the developmental territory. It's because you have to keep on proving yourself. You're good. And then they would send, their talent relations down to come watch some of our shows, and we would be graded on how we're doing our performance, our bodies, like our look, our facial expression, everything. You are critiqued from head to toe. There's not one piece of you that they don't know. And so that pressure, but when you get to TV, did they invest in a good athlete? Did they invest in a good person? So you're like, well, I hope they're happy of what they've trained me to be. So there's always pressure. Even at the end of your career, there's pressure. You always have to prove yourself. I'm good enough. My repertoire is changing. I'm still strong. I'm not lagging. I'm still trying to change things up and be more intense and not just taking this business for granted. You know what I mean? You always are trying to prove yourself. So there's always pressure. Yeah. Always. Even when you're at home. Even when you're at home. You're like, oh my God, you're so exhausted from traveling 4 days a week.
Yeah.
I got to get to the gym. I got to go tan. I got to get my nails done. Oh my gosh. My eyebrows. like, you need to, you know, for us as a woman, you still need to maintain that beauty, you know, and try to keep your looks up. Not, I need to dye my hair. My grays are showing, you know, or I need, my extensions are falling out. I need more It's an expensive investment because we are independent contractors. So we pay for that ourselves, you know, our hair, you know, all that kind of stuff, taking care of ourselves. And So I would give it up for the world, though. I got to travel a lot, and I see the world, made some amazing friends in the industry, and I had a great career. I can't complain about it.
You did. You had a fantastic career. And one of the main moments in that career was you and Lita, 2003, in the first ever women's steel cage match. How honoured were you you were representing the whole division, showing that you can go past these stereotypes. You can be in a steel cage match. How honoured were you? And also, how do you prepare for that? Because there's nothing like a steel cage.
You don't prepare.
Yeah.
You get to TV and they tell you have a cage match tonight. You're like, whoa, wait, whoa. Oh my God, are you? And I would think Finley, I'm like, you're joking. And he goes, no, I'm serious. I'm like, because he was a jokester. He always pulled pranks, and he was a big time jokester. And I was like, no, seriously, holy crap. We had hardcore, like Trish and I had hardcore street fights, and we did matches that other people didn't do. And now we're getting a steel cage match, and you know, and then find out, you know, they didn't want us to use the cage so much. Then why do you give us a cage match when we're not allowed to use it so much? So we're like, what the hell did we do? Yeah. And so, you know, oh my God, I couldn't ask for a better opponent like Lita. You know, I tried to get color on my head. I wanted to split my head to get to bleed, but they wouldn't let me. And I told Lita to throw me hard as you can against the fence. So I'll try to gig myself, and I didn't do it right. I got a lump. And so, but the thing when I look back at that match, though, which I hate, is the outfit I wore. It didn't fit me right. I bought it over the shelf, right? I bought it from the store. Yeah. And I should have had the elastic put on a little tighter, because the whole time I'm pulling up my pants and my thong underwear were showing. And I'm like, you don't want to distract the crowd by going, oh, her butt, her bum, you know, like, oh my, look at that. And while we're doing moves, almost killing ourselves. You know what I mean? That's what, when I look at that, I'm like, oh, why did I wear that outfit? Why did I wear that outfit? You know what I mean? Because it was distracting me and throwing me off my game. Yeah, but it was a great match. I was happy with,
As you just mentioned, the thing that's always, it's kind of amazed me when you're gigging yourself and you're cutting yourself open. How just scary is that?
I never did.
But just in general, is it?
We weren't allowed to do it.
How do you?
Is it what?
Is it scary? Have you done it before?
There's a razor blade sometimes. There's sometimes a razor blade. You know. You know, I'm probably exposing way too much, but there's tape on some people's fingers, or the referee has the blade, or someone will have the blade, or yourself, like you'll hide it under a mat or something like that. But I wasn't allowed to do it. They were like, no. And I go, well, the ref can do it. And he goes, no, we're not having you do it. And I go, well, maybe the trainers can come back and then like help me up. And I stand up and go crazy psycho. And I wasn't allowed to do it. So I couldn't tell you. I think, So all the cuts and bruises, everything I got in the ring were real. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Broken chipped tooth, broken nose. Yeah. So I never did anything purposely. You know, those were accidents.
It's a shame, really, isn't it? Would have made for a great visual. Would have looked good.
You would have thought, but they didn't want to see Diva. Vince said, we don't want to see the Divas bleed. You know, it's not a good look. That, you know, it's just what we appreciate you wanting to do that. And I'm like, okay, we are in a cage. You know, it's, you know, that's part of being in a cage. You know, look Mick Foley's career in the cage, and Ric Flair bleeding all the time. But, you know, I don't know. Yeah. Baffles me to this day, but
it defeats the point.
We still got the match, right? Exactly, right? Yeah. And a chair shot. Yeah, I think you could bleed after a chair shot too, right?
It's baffling.
It's okay. We got it done, and we were honored to be the first time. Yeah. I haven't watched it in years. I'll be honest with you. I think I only watched it twice.
Is that you do that for a lot of your matches? Do you not watch them much, or?
We watch it when we come back to catering, like the following week. They'll have it on the VHS in the catering room, and then we'll ask Finley to watch it with us and critique us.
Okay.
So we're like, we'll watch it, and we're like, oh man, that sucked. And us girls in my gender, we're so critical. We're never happy with our matches. So we're like, oh man, I didn't do that clothesline very well. Oh shit. Like you're always kind of, oh man, I could have done that better. You know what I mean? And certain camera angles, that kind of stuff. So I would watch it once with Fit, and that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll watch it maybe like if Trish and I were in catering, we'll watch it together, and then let's rewind it. There's Fit. Our match is on. Come on. Let's rewind it. Can you let's watch it together. And that's probably all.
Okay.
That's all I watched it. And then when someone reposts on Twitter or Instagram or something like that, I'm so curious their videos. The fans they do amazing freaking editing and stuff, and the music background. They're phenomenal. Right?
Impressive. So you've mentioned.
And I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it's beyond me as well. And you've mentioned Fit Finley a lot, and you see it nowadays. He's still influential with the women. How influential was he with you guys? Just how good was he?
He was the one that, he was new to WWE, and as a joke, I don't know, as a joke, they're like, oh, give him the women, and he was like, all right, give me the women. I'm gonna make them freaking fighters. They're gonna be not unstoppable. And he did, and he created all of our characters. Like he would say, we would, before the shows, like we would get there so early, 10:30, 11 stuff. Let's go in the ring, let's go wrestle. And so I was so intense in my facial expressions. I wrestled Memphis style, which is very old school and very, very exaggerated. My face, and like when I grab someone, I would make sure the last row would be able to see it. Because you really wrestle kind of, it's like you're kind of crazy out there. Yeah. And I'm like, I just think I'm intense. I don't think I'm crazy, but and he's the one that came up with the character, and and he like came up with Jazz's tough, Trish being, like blonde hair, blue eye girl next door, and he was in charge of, like, he made us what we were,
Seems like a great bloke.
He's the best. He's amazing. I can't tell you. He wrestled since he was a kid with his parents. Yeah. So amazing.
He's got the mind for it.
Yeah.
And
he's just natural.
Yeah. And as we just mentioned a second ago, in your career, you've been in so many like gimmick matches. So obviously the steel cage, hardcore. You had the hair versus title match at WrestleMania. Which one is your personal favorite that you've been in? Just out of any.
I like the street fight. There was a Chicago street fight we had, Trish and I.
Okay.
The reason being, everyone thinks I'm going to say Madison Square Garden when I got the title. I love that day because I got the title. I was like, oh my God, I got the title the first time in New York City. And then, but okay, I do like the hair versus title match too. But the Madison Square Garden, the finish got all messed up. I was supposed to crush the mirror over Trish's head at the end, but you can see a spot if you rewatch it. At the end, she steps on the mirror and it cracks, and I'm like, I go to pick it up. I go, holy crap! Okay, there's a fire extinguisher under the mat, the ring. Yeah. There were two. I grabbed the wrong one. It had the pin in it. They're both real. Just one didn't have a pin. Yeah. And I was like, shoot, pull my hair. Get in, forget it. I go, I got it. Back off. I got it. And I got the pin, and I just, and then my go-to move was, I used to love doing the suplex. The snap suplex was my favorite move. Yeah. And I did it with a snap suplex instead of a roll-up. I should have rolled her up because the spray in her face should have been it. You know what I mean? And breathing the fire extinguisher, it sucks up, the oxygen. So you can't breathe. In that air, you're like, you know what I mean? You can't breathe. And that's like so blown up. I chewed and broke my nose in that.
Oh, my.
But the Chicago street fight was very soon after. I want to say it was Monday, maybe the following day after pay-per-view or something. But I think it was very close. You might have to Google that. I don't know.
Okay.
But we had a street fight, and we had really cool spots in it. I haven't watched that in years as well, but we had some freaking good people. Like Molly Holly was amazing too. She taught me a lot. She was the one that came up with my finisher.
Oh, really?
Not came up with it. She got it from Roderick Strong. She saw it at an indie show that she just happened to go watch. And she goes, I see a move that this guy's doing. His name's Roderick Strong. And you should do it because I was the big girl and I can pick up everybody.
Yeah.
And she gave me the move and it put me on that too. So thank you, Robert Strong and Molly. Yeah,
good on them. How hard is it to improvise in the ring? So obviously you just said there you had to get the fire extinguisher, then you had to take the pin out. How do you panic? Do you just do the first thing that comes to your head?
You do have to. You have to do a mind trick to yourself. Okay, take a breath. Think. And it also takes two. Like one person will suggest something too. We're both talking a lot in the ring. So like, at that moment to get the fire extinguisher, I just like, okay, I know there's a fire extinguisher under here. I know there's one. So it just, I need to get it. I need to get it. We got to, how do you follow a mirror crashing on her? You know what I mean? Because the whole storyline, me yelling at myself in the mirror, shut up. No, Trish is not better. You know what I mean? And so that was the whole like exclamation point on that. Right. And, oh my gosh, I've had some good opponents, man. I've been very lucky that I was in that generation, and we all got along really amazingly, and so also being a heel, you're also taught to lead the match. So if someone, you can, when I was new, deer headlights, you're like, you're lost. You get that look like this. And you're like, oh, they're lost. Yeah. So you have to be able to control and grab them by the head and like go, I'm going to punch you, sit down and just take a breath. Boom. And then I'll go gloat in front of the camera. I'll come back. Okay, you ready, girl? You ready? And I learned how to lead from Jazz. She was a very good leader, like making you calm, like going, all right, baby, we got it. We got it, baby. All right, baby, we're going to do this. She's very relaxing and very, like trusting. And you're like, okay, she knows what she's doing. So you have to be, as a heel, you're more the leader. And you kind of, if you hear the crowd not cheering for the baby face, you're like, oh shoot, I'm losing the crowd. I need to beat her up more. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of reacting to the crowd. Yeah. It's an amazing craft. Like what we do, like when I do these interviews, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did this. This is incredible. Yeah. Incredible that I did this. I'm like, it is very difficult. It's not easy. And we don't get like in acting, we don't get a second shot. Nope. We're live, man. We're out there. The fans react. Yeah. If they don't like it, they'll let you know. You effed up. You effed up. I hated that chant. And I'm like, Mother Jumper, you get in here and do what we do. Yes. I dare you to come in here. You tell them. Right? That chant. It's very disrespectful. Super disrespectful. And we're landing on our back for a living and getting whiplash and hurting our bodies to get a simple yay, oh, boo, and like reaction. Yeah. And then when they crap on if we mess up, they forget we're human. We make mistakes, man. We're not perfectionists, They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. Well, I can't do it as well, so they can't. You can do it. You never say you can't. You can. You can. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. You can. You can do it. And then it was. That's what made me work hard, though, when I first started. A lot of people said you don't have the it factor. And I'm like, okay. F you. Motivation. I'm going to show you. It did. It did light a spark under my butt to really work hard. Like, I'll show them I'm going to be the best. You know what I mean? It's almost a good thing. Sometimes you need that kind of boost. You do, but it's also very hurtful. You know what I mean? Like, right? It's just, it really affects your mind and how you view yourself. Yeah. You're like, well, maybe I can't. You kind of like going, what if I don't make it? Then I really am not good enough. You know what I mean? It does a really mind trick on you, right? Crazy. I get what you're saying. And then it was we spoke about it earlier. It was 2009 that you left WWE, and obviously said TNA reached out straight away. Why did you decide to leave? Is the first one. Why was it the right time to leave WWE? It was I went into the office and it said, hey, do you guys see the title in my future? And they're like, they gave the look. Yeah. And I knew I was a good enhancement opponent, which I'm okay with. Mm-hmm. But when the fans were like going, oh, come on, you could have beat her. Like, when you go to your car after the show, they're yelling, are you kidding me? And they're not believing in like the whole storyline and stuff like that. And if I would have been told, hey, we want you as an enhancement wrestler and maybe train some of the girls, I would have loved to stay. But I was like, the fans are not believing in my character anymore. And I want to leave loving the business. I didn't want to be bitter when people are like, I didn't want to hate it.
Yeah.
And then also too, I was getting older, and I didn't know what I was going to do in the future. What happens after wrestling? My God, I have a plan for this. You know what I mean? And you're never ready to retire, and that's why I never said in my speech I was retiring. This is my last match in WWE. Yeah. And I remember the fans chanting TNA. And I was like, and I hadn't been contacted with TNA from TNA at that time. So, yeah. But then I started watching TNA when Gail Kim was going against Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, my God. Reminds me when Trish and I used to get it, they were like freaking throwing down. And I was like, that's what intrigued me about TNA.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then my opponent, I kept on going to TV. I already told them that I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Asked for my early retirement. I had 2 more years on my contract. Can I break my contract?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to talk to Stephanie, Vince McMahon, and Johnny Ace. And I said, I don't know if I want to have kids. I don't know what the hell I want to be when I grow up. I still feel like a kid. And I kept on coming to TV, and I'm like, is today my last match? Is today? Yeah. And then finally Michelle McCool came up to me in catering. She goes, Sis, it's you and me tonight. And she goes, your last match. And I'm winning. And I was like, oh, she goes, I wanted you to win. I tried, but they said you passed the torch on. Yeah. So I was like, I'm okay with that. So yeah. And I did cry. I had a huge speech like in my mind. I didn't write anything down, but I had a huge speech like in mind. But when I'm emotional, I can't talk.
Yeah.
So I remember her just like when she pinned me, she said, I love you. My tears. I was like, I couldn't even say I love you back. Yeah. I was just like, yeah. But it's like announcing that at WWE was very, very emotional because that was such a big part of my wrestling career and my adulthood.
You've been there nearly 10 years. It's a long part of your life.
Yeah. And my whole family and your whole family is part of WWE.
Yeah.
You see these people every single day almost, and you're talking to them on your days off, and and you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to see these people every weekend. What am I going to do? And I remember getting therapy. I got I went to therapy because I thought I was going to have that, oh my God, depressed and like all that kind of stuff. And so, and I went and he was like, oh, you're okay. I didn't need therapy. I needed therapy for other things like being real life kind of crap, but not for wrestling, retiring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. And how different are the environments? So you've gone from a WWE locker room to TNA. Or was it a completely different sort of environment to adapt to?
Completely different. Completely. Okay. It's a little bit less. It was unorganized. I remember finding out I was on pay-per-view on a Saturday, which our pay-per-view is on Sunday, right?
Oh, okay.
Through Twitter. And I called the office and I said, am I on pay-per-view? I just saw some tweet that I'm on pay-per-view. I haven't got a flight. You guys didn't send, they're oh shit, we need to send you a flight. And, I just was used to like, WWE, there's a department for everything.
Yeah.
I have merchandise, training, just
every little
there's
thing.
it's an empire. WWE is an empire. And going to TNA and then, just working every, like once a month, and they would film 3 shows in one weekend. Mm-hmm. And you're allowed to do independence there. It was just a different, and I remember going table to table, hi, I'm Lisa, to the wrestlers I didn't know. They're like, oh, and one of the girls said, Lisa, or Tara, I don't remember my name. You don't have to do that here. You don't have to be political. And I'm like, oh, but I'm just being nice and introducing myself, welcoming. You know what I mean? Out of respect. Yeah. So like in WWE, you need to say hi to everybody. You know what I mean? If you, you have to show respect. You know what I mean? Especially to the elderly, not the elderly, the legends that paved the way to us, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it was way different. And the locker room was very, very mellow there. I remember, I'm like, hey, do you guys know what I'm doing tonight? And do I need to put makeup on? Do I need to go to the makeup people? Like, what's happening? You're like, I was so in the dark. I was like, and sometimes you would find out an hour before the show starts, you have a match. I do?
Yeah.
Against who? Okay, what she get? I didn't even talk to her. We haven't even got any spots lined up. Like, what's the story on this? Are we going to continue on? You know, it's a lot, you know, but yeah, I wouldn't trade that for the world either. You know, I made some awesome friends at in TNA, you know, ODB. I talk to her every day also. And, you know, SoCal Val. Like, I met some amazing people there, you know, and
this is worth it.
I don't regret being there.
That's good. That's good. How do you manage or handle the stress of not knowing, just being like everything's up in the air? So you must be running back and forth to so many people, finding out different things.
Yeah.
How do you
yeah. And you're going like, you're just like, oh my God, I'm being a pain in the ass because I'm like, do you know what I'm doing? Am I on? Like, ready? Like, need to put my gear on? You know, it doesn't take me 5 minutes to put my gear on. It takes me freaking 30 minutes to put it on. I'm wearing all these tights underneath, all these support things so I don't fall out. And like this make space, I wake up like this, you know? So you just do it, you know? It's just like, you just
handle it.
I think you get you're used the years of experience, you just go with the flow kind of thing. You're like, okay, screw it. Let's go out there and just make everything count. Lay it in. I'm always the one like, if you're going to hit me, freaking hit me.
Yeah.
It's my fault. If I don't bump and I take the hit, it's my fault, you know? Yeah. So, yeah.
It's good mindset to have. You're stronger than most people.
Yeah. Yes.
Very, very ballsy. I don't think many people can do that.
I just think the way I was trained, I was like trained very, very snug, very English style where we kind of lay things in, not as hard as the English style, but Fit Finley style is lay it in, you know? And then when I did go to TNA, there were a few people that says, ooh, ease up. And I'm like, huh? Because I lock up. When I lock up, you're going to feel me lock up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're going to feel my clothesline. Once you feel it, you better bump. You know what I mean? That's how I was trained. You know, I'm not really trying to take your head off, but it's timing. You know, you need to keep your eyes open. And like, once you feel that first contact, you go. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And you were
I didn't know I was stiff until I went to TNA. I didn't know I was a stiff style until I went to TNA.
Not necessarily a bad thing, especially for a heel. I mean, it plays into your role. It's all part of the character.
Yeah, but you start second, but then you're like going, oh, this person doesn't want to work with me because I'm stiff. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, I don't want this reputation that I'm out there to hurt somebody. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'd rather hurt myself before somebody else. You know? Yeah.
I know what you mean. And then you were very successful there. Obviously, won many titles. What was your favorite moment within TNA overall?
I hated the spider thing, like at the beginning. No, at the beginning. No, I hated it because I was like, what the hell? A tarantula? I have to carry. Do they have venom? Oh, they have venom. What happens when I get bit? Yeah. Are you allergic to bees? I go, I don't know. I've never been stung. And they're like, there's certain things you can't do with the tarantula. You can't breathe hard on them because they think that they're getting attacked by a bird, and they shoot their fibers to blind. They shoot fibers to blind them in the cornea of birds when they're getting attacked. You drop them, they explode like light bulbs. And so, but to get the reaction of people after I put the spider on and being that chick that can hold a spider, but you can see close up, my hands are like this. I was scared. I thought every time I'm holding it, it's going to bite me. And, but I felt like Jake the Snake with, you know, I'm carrying a spider, kind of a cool chick, not showing fear. I can do it. And of course, you know, going to TNA, I was like, whatever you ask me to do, you know, I'm very easy to deal with. I'm not a prima donna. You give me a match, I'm going to make it the best match ever. You know what I mean? So that was the first, I think when you first win the title there, and every time you win a title, it's a special moment because then it shows that they have faith in you to carry the title and defend it. You know what I mean? So it's always like rewarding.
Especially if you're going to win it 5.
And also like when Mickey James, right? And then when Mickey James and I had a cage match, and then Austin Kong and I had a cage match, it was like, holy crap! Wow, jeez, oh my gosh, back in the roller coaster again. You know? But it was cool. It was cool. Yeah,
I can imagine.
But I wasn't used to, like when I went to TNA, I wasn't used to TNA working with girls bigger than I was.
Yeah.
So I had to change my style. How do I knock this girl down? I was like, I can't body slam Kong.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I had to change. I was like, what did the little girls do to me? I had to go back and like watch tapes
Yeah.
and go, how did they, you know what I mean? It was really hard to retrain yourself.
I
Yeah.
suppose it's kind of a good thing though, because then you can adapt to anyone.
Challenging yourself again. Yeah. And it's challenging. It's not just the same old match, right? Yeah.
Learning new things.
Yeah. But and then like when I would wrestle ODB, like when people say, who do you enjoy working with? Nikki and ODB, like we would try to make each other laugh in the ring.
Okay.
Just to see if to break a smile and break your character. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was fun. You know, it was like, you always have fun with your closest friends, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a journey.
It is. I can imagine. And then after TNA and after WWE, you went on to the independent scene. Why did you make that decision? Was it for the freedom? And how different is it being able to like wrestle on your own time opposed to being told when you need to wrestle?
Oh no, I got let go in TNA.
Oh, did you?
They called me and said, we have nothing for you. Yeah, I did. I think 2 months. I was there 4 years, and I think I had a couple months left. But I was very vocal about me not re-signing.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't a fan of Dixie Carter. I wasn't a fan. Like, just certain things irked me a little bit. And I was like, I'm done. I can't, and then going to TV or staying home and they don't have anything for you. And you're like, how could you not? You have people that write stories, and like, how could you not come up with something for me? And you would come up with stuff too and pitch some ideas. Yeah. And I was just like, I was sitting home for so long. I'm like, I got used to it. I'm like, and I started doing the indies and picking and choosing who I get to fight. And it was empowering because you get to be in charge of yourself instead of having a company in charge of you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though we're independent contractors. Yeah. But it was scary doing indies because you don't really know these people. You know, you're meeting strangers, in the ring, and you're like, how do they work? Are they stiffer than I, or are they going to hurt me? Are they safe? So you're putting because you aren't in charge of each other. You know what I mean? Like if she drops me on my head, you have to trust. You know what I mean? So that was the scary part of wrestling. So, but I had a good time. I got to wrestle for Tommy Dreamer's organization. Really cool organization. Bellatrix, Soraya Knight, and just I got to meet a lot of people and travel again, but not as busy. So you can kind of have a normal home life,
Yeah.
Not normal, but semi-normal.
Yeah. I suppose it's nice after years of constantly wrestling within the big companies. You can pick and choose your time off.
That too. It's like, and also too, my brothers are like, hey, I'm having a barbecue, and I'm like, I'm on the road. I can't go to your barbecue. But now it's like I'm going, okay, I'll be at what time? Now I'm like so free to go. Okay, you're having dinner. Oh, you want to meet downtown? That kind of thing. You're free to do that. And it's nice. I'll be honest. It is nice not being on somebody else's time. You know what I mean? Which I appreciate. Yeah.
And just back on TNA quickly, you mentioned it. Do you reckon that they released you because you were so vocal? Do you reckon they wanted to beat you to it? Or what do you
I think they heard like how unhappy I was, at a little bit of confrontation backstage, not against wrestlers or anything like that. Just how the promoting side and stuff like that. And that's very vocal. And I remember talking to Bruce Pritchard, and I went off and people were outside watching me. They've never seen me. I'm not an angry person.
Yeah.
And I don't have a temper. I mean, you really have to cross that line to see that side of me. I remember my ears burning because I was so angry. I don't know, have you ever been that angry where your ears are like burning?
No, you must have been angry.
That's when you're really super. I was angry. I just saw red and I just went off. I, dropped a few bad language. You guys are really famous for the CUNT word.
Yes.
I've never said it until that day. Never in my career. If I said it, I never called somebody. I would have just said, "Oh, they said this,"
Mm-hmm.
But and I think the word got around that what I did, blowing up like that, and they're like, "Just let her go. Just let her go." That kind of thing. But it wasn't anybody I worked with, like wrestling wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, people behind it. I suppose you always.
And then I got fired through the travel guy. The guy that did the travel.
Yeah.
Is the one that called me and let me and fired me.
Oh, how weird.
And I was like, oh, wow. You do the travel and you do the firing?
Yeah. What a strange.
I'm so sorry. I did not want to make it. Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah. I was like, wow. The boss could even call me and to let me go.
Yeah. I was going to say, you'd like to think if they're going to fire you, they can do it themselves. Well. Yeah.
But that company has changed around, Impact Wrestling. I mean, Gail Kim's the female agent. I think she's in production. She's a producer there. And it's the first time a female has ever landed that role. Yeah. And so she's like in charge there. So is Scott Demore.
Yeah.
And that company's changed so much and giving so many females opportunity and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I would never badmouth it. I badmouth when I was there, but not now.
No,
they have changed and they're very good. They're very good. I give them props. I think they have good people on staff now.
Good. We like to hear. And then on the independents, what was so obviously you went to places like Ring of Honor. Who was your favorite company to wrestle for?
Oh my God. I never got to wrestle Shimmer. Shimmer was a big company. I never wrestled for them. Bellatrix was one of a company that was in the UK, and against Soraya Knight, which is Paige's mom, was a highlight in my career. She's a freaking amazing. But again, I don't work that style, so I would coming back, and I was like, oh, my eardrum popped, and my cornea got scratched. I would come back just like I was just like, she's a tough cookie.
Yeah.
The toughest wrestler I can say in the industry, like Medusa, Sharon Martel, Soraya Knight is the toughest chick in this industry, period. She is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, and that whole family is very gifted. And oh my gosh, I don't know what company, like Ring of Honor, their crowd is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're very, I got to do a run-in against Maria and Kevin Owens, which is Kevin Steele, you would call him, remember? Kevin Steen. Sorry, Kevin Steen. Yeah. It's Kevin Owens. Nobody is now Owens.
Yeah, it's Kevin Owens now.
Okay. Yeah. I was defending him. I ran in because Maria got on Kevin. And, I did say 2 words to Kevin Steen at the time, right? And I was like, oh, I don't think that guy likes me at all. And then I got in the ring, and then I did my finisher, the Widow's Peak on her. And he came up to me, and I'm like, and I gave him a hug. We hugged and celebrated. And he goes, I just want to say this is such an honor. I've always been a fan of yours. And I'm like, and that was that's so nice. I didn't think you liked me at all. I was like, oh my God, okay, this freaking WWE girl's coming in to freaking Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Why do we need her? That's what I thought, that whole, but their crowd is very, very loud, like AEW too. It was like super loud and really intense. Yeah, that was a special moment, and then seeing Kevin get signed with WWE I was like, oh, I like that guy. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And I was going to ask, you just mentioned it then, what are your thoughts on AEW? Do you watch it much?
I don't watch it. I don't watch wrestling too much. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know why. But when I went on Jericho Cruise, which I highly recommend, Jericho Cruise, the experience on that, you're on a cruise and everybody's a wrestling fan and you're with Ric Flair, Eric Bischoff. I mean, just all these superstars, and we don't have security around us. We're on the cruise with you guys.
Yeah.
So we're just like going gambling and just like going to the pool and going to go watch AEW and then Fozzy perform with everybody. So we're hanging out with the fans as well. And it was, and then, we had certain signs, like, we take a picture on the boat. You don't pay for pictures. It's very interaction. Like you're there. You're in this thing. Like I would come out my door of the room I got, and the fans next door to me going, Victoria, you're next to me, and I'm like going, I am. You better keep it down over there. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But that experience, like if anybody, it's not super expensive. it's like a WrestleMania weekend. That experience is so good. Jericho is just freaking, he's amazing. Everybody, all the guests he had, like Candace, I think is going on the next cruise. She called me. She goes, "How was it?" I go, "You have to do it.
Yeah,
you have to do it." Yeah. And when I tell the fans, like if they're over 21, get the drink package.
Okay.
You know, pay the extra $3.50 for the drink package, because those drinks, as wrestlers, we didn't get the drink package. You know, we got half off the drinks. So I would have fans buy me the drinks. I go, do you have the drink package? Would you get me a vodka soda, please, or a glass of wine? They're like, "Are you serious?" And I go, "I don't have the drink package. I get 50% off." And so get the drink package next time. But, it's worth it, because, cruise drinks are very weaker than a casino drink. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But you have to do it. I don't know what the pricing is. You have to, it's an experience. I mean, and you come off that, as a fan, you make so many other fans, and then the fans make friends with each other, and they're like, "Hey, you go next year." And there's people that have been together years since this has started, and it just gets better and better. Like, they have all these performances. I played a bowling thing against other fans, and I'm super competitive on that too. So it was so fun. The cruise, every wrestling fan has to do it. You have to do it. It's not, when I heard how much it was, I was like, "That's it? That's all you paid?" "Well, I didn't get the drink package." And I go, "Yeah, but the drink package was an extra $350. I go, "That's a bargain, know?" And it comes with, like, if we're walking around, can I take a picture with you? Yeah, sure. You're not paying for a picture. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you get to hang out with everybody.
Yeah, it's not every day you're with the wrestlers you've watched growing up on a cruise in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. It's once in a lifetime.
And then also with hardcore fans, like you're with people that really respected your career. You know what I mean? And so, we're wrestling fans too. So you're with everybody. You're amongst your people. Yeah.
Everyone's got something in common. It does seem very nice.
It is nice. It's super nice. That was about, like, when I had the Squared Circle, the restaurant in Chicago. It was a wrestling restaurant that I owned with my ex-husband. If someone came in by themselves, I would sit them at a table with other fans or people watching wrestling. And they would then exchange phone numbers, and they would get the table together. And it was a community. Like, we're all have something in common. It's like seeing, I've mentioned this on GAW TV. Like, when you go to the airport and you see someone wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, you go like this, "Hey, what's up, man?" You know what I mean? You're like, I watched that too. It's kind of a bonding experience, no? Right?
You got something in common.
Totally. Yes. And then you start a conversation, right? Yeah. It's cool.
That is cool. So now I've got a few quick fire type questions, but it'll probably it's on the you're under the pressure here, so you can take your time. Time. First one is, who has been your favorite opponent throughout your whole career?
I can't answer that. I have so many favorites. Yeah. I can't. I've had some, I can't, they're all so good. And I can't even say, like, the WWE and TNA, I've had such amazing opponents. I've been very blessed that I haven't been crapped on. Like, people are like going, "Oh, I didn't like that match." I mean, God, like, the one I was, like, super proud of is this Barbie, Kelly. Like, she stepped it up. You know what I mean? She was like, she turned into that tough chick, like, she would never complain. She didn't know that about us either. And she was so tiny and frail, but, she stepped it up. There was just so many, sorry, that's a long answer.
No, I can imagine. That's what I expected. When you've had a career like yours, you can't just narrow it down to one person.
It's too long. It's too long of a list.
I can imagine. Yeah. You might have the same answer for this one. Do you have a favorite match?
Remember I said Chicago Street Fight was one of my favorites? And then, like, my cage match too with Lita, cage match with Mickey, cage match with Awesome Kong. I had a hardcore match against ODB, and we laughed because I went to throw the trash can lid. Yeah. And it was supposed to hit her, slip, and went into the fans. And we're like, "Oh my God, someone's going to get cut from this, and I'm going to get sued, or TNA is going to get in trouble." Oh my God, so many good matches. I one of my favorites, you're gonna laugh, is when I dressed as a sumo wrestler.
Okay.
Remember that, the Halloween one?
Yeah.
Remember that big one? Which I thought back in my mind, I'm like going, they're not gonna be able to lift me out of this because this thing weighs a ton. I'm gonna win this match. And everybody wants to dress sexy. Let the girls do the sexy. Let me be the heavy guy. Let me be the comedy act. And I remember the girls just cracking up. If they would have had a microphone on us inside the ring, you would have heard so much. Like people were crying because they were laughing. I couldn't get up. I needed help to stand up. Yeah, it was one of my favorites too.
That is good. I can imagine that stays with you because you can have fun whilst wrestling, but then there's having fun just in a completely different way, like dressing up.
Fun, exactly. When you're in there, when you're just like, to have a fun match is more important than having an awesome match. When you have fun, usually it's an awesome match, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then next one is, so out of like nowadays crop of women, if you had to wrestle someone, who would you pick? Who would be your go-to person to face?
I think Charlotte is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte, I would love to face. Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, she's also, she's a flair and she's super athletic, but I think she'd show me up, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Well,
she'd out-wrestle me. Her athleticism is just like, these girls cardiovascular, their training,
insane.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlotte is incredible. And who is the most underrated wrestler that you have shared a locker room with? Someone you don't think gets the credit they deserve. You can say yourself.
Oh my God. Jazz.
Jazz?
Jazz doesn't get the credit.
Why is that?
Yeah, Jazz. She should have held the title way longer. She was basically a good trainer as well.
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't paid as a trainer, but she taught me, and I too. But Jazz, she's phenomenal, man. She is an incredible freaking wrestler. Like she'll go out there and as they say, she can, like her and Molly Holly can wrestle a broomstick and make the broomstick look good. That's what the old saying is.
Yeah.
But Jazz is like, she needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, brings me on to my next one. So I think it's a matter of when, not if, with you in the Hall of Fame. So let's just say next year you're being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Who do you want to induct you into it?
That's a tough one too, but I think that it's so hard because I'm friends with so many people in the industry. Like I'm best friends with Mickey James. I'm best friends with Tori Wilson, Candace, Lita, and Trish, Molly. That's a tough one.
I don't want to cause any argument.
Because I traveled. I think that when I traveled so much,
Yeah.
with the crew, like Candace and Tori, since we were Vince's Devils, I would love them too. And you're gonna laugh, maybe, or Chavo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chavo's one of my best friends. He knows me through in and outside of me. He's my. The reason why we bonded so well, he reminds me of my oldest brother. He's a California dude, and we just have so much in common. Like we're for same generation and same age and same area we grew up in, but he's been with us girls from the beginning too, because he was our travel partner. So he can have hilarious stories. So can Tommy Dreamer. He has amazing stories too. He's one of my BFFs too. It's hard because I've been in this career for so long. I've made so many best friends. You know what I mean? That became your family. That's hard to say. Yeah, that's a hard one.
And then
and Michelle McCool too, because she was my last match. So I couldn't choose.
No, okay, yeah. I don't blame you. Don't want to cause any arguments. Don't want to.
I know. Who would you think I was going to say?
Ooh, that's a good question. I was thinking that the Michelle McCool route, because last match it would have been like a full circle. You wrestled her last, she inducted you, and that would have been romantic. Would have been a nice little story.
That would have, yeah. See, it's really tough because
so many.
It's super tough because I love Michelle McCool. That was my last match, and it was my most emotional match I've ever had.
Yeah.
The most tears I've cried. Yeah. And she knows me through ins and outs too. God. Yeah.
Two men.
We're all therapists, you know, we're all good shoulders to cry on, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff, you know?
Imagine.
We're very tight. People don't realize how close we are. Even if we don't talk for months and months and months, when we talk to each other, it's like going back in the locker room. Nothing's changed.
That must be nice. That must be nice.
It must be like that for you, Jonathan. It's like when you talk to like your elementary buddies or your high school friends.
Yeah.
You went to school with.
No, it's true.
You bump into them and it's right back where it seemed like no time has passed.
Yeah, there's not like an awkward thing. It's like you've never not talked. I got what you mean, actually. I do get what you mean.
Right. Yeah.
And then at the beginning, you mentioned GAW TV, which is obviously grown-ass women TV, but it's not limited to women because I've been watching it every now and then, and it does make me laugh. So so that's you, Mickie James in SoCal. How did that come about?
Well, Mickie James was talking about GAW with Alicia Fox, and then Mickie James and SoCal were talking, and they were like, we should do a show, this and that. We need another person. And then my name came up, and they texted me or sent me a Vox.
Yeah.
We always talk about boxing. Would you be, and I was like, you don't even need to ask me. Hell yeah, I'll be part of this. And it's basically, you're a fly in the wall, and we're just having, wine, having drinks, and shooting the shit. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, my language, but we're just girls talking about just how we would normally talk. We don't have a filter. We just talk about what we want to talk. We're very fan friendly. We always have guests in, which is nice. It's really, how I know as being an interviewer, it's hard to get guests, right? Yeah. And then now people are reaching out to us going, when are you going to have me on your show? And you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, with our show, it's like you're hanging out with friends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really cool. It's so much fun. It's so much fun, honestly. We're filming tomorrow 2 back-to-back shows. So tomorrow's a busy day. Yeah, because we usually film on Wednesday. I don't know what happened on Wednesday. Our schedules are mixed. We do pre-tape. We do pre-tape it. You know what I mean? And Val does all the editing.
She sounds good with that stuff. Very, very smart with it.
You got to pick her brain. Jonathan, she's amazing. And, we're sponsored by Death Wish Coffee. That's this one. Cheap plug. The guy that I did their podcast called Fueled by Death. And we started chit-chatting how we're starting the show and stuff like that. And he gave us his phone number. If we ever have questions, he goes, reach out to me. I had to self-teach myself all this stuff. I know way too much information about that. So he kind of helped us out in this too. So it was like, so I was like, thank God. Yeah, through our coffee. Yeah. Geez. And we meet this guy, right? Yeah. It's amazing how paths cross. Yeah. And you meet someone and they're like, well, I know I can help you out. I know this. It's right. It's a constant chain.
It is.
You get to know you, right? It's amazing, huh? And I would have never thought this when I was younger. Like being older, I think you kind of appreciate it now. Do you know what I mean? I'm not older and wiser, but things like you start overthinking things, especially during the COVID, you start overthinking, wow, we're really lucky that we got this show going. Because of COVID, the show started, Yeah.
Do you reckon if COVID hadn't happened, do you reckon the show would have still come about?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no clue. Because Mickie James would have been busy on the road every single weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe right, and maybe not. I hate saying that, but thank you, Rona.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's a good way to end it because that was my last question. So thank you so much for your time. And if
Jonathan, hold on. Oh yeah, are we saying goodbye? Are we saying goodbye?
Well, I was going to say you can. I was going to say you can plug.
Go ahead, John.
So you have social medias you want to promote your YouTube.
Oh, my social media. Okay, my personal ones, they're mostly all at Real Lisa Marie, but mostly just follow us on at GAW TV and subscribe to youtube.com/GAW TV show. Yes. So just subscribe. Every week we're on there and we talk about real stuff, relationships, and
life.
Just life. I mean, we're just real. We're just raw. But sometimes we're talking about unnecessarily. Yeah. We always have our little buzz on our pregame. So loose mouth a little bit.
That's the way to
But,
be.
and yeah, but it's, yeah. But thank you so much for having me on this.
Oh, no,
Jonathan. But thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yes.
Jonathan's amazing. The wrestling movement, you better follow.
Yes.
And when you do this, please tag me and I'll repost the interview.
You will. We'll tag you on everything.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.